Hey folks, it is Vince the Evil DM, and I'm back with another episode of Railguns and Dragons. Hopefully everybody's doing well out there. I'm doing well myself. Things have changed a little bit around here in my compound or house, whatever you want to say it, the manor, or the Vince Manor, the Evil DM Manor, the lair of the Evil DM. Yeah, that's what we're going to call it. The lair of the Evil DM, because that's my secondary gaming channel that I never ever use here on YouTube. Anyway, we're in April, and we're continuing along with Railguns and Dragons, and open house is this month, but unfortunately I will not be attending as I planned. I had to cancel that due to a new job, not getting the hours, and there was some problem with the tickets as well when I went to check them, so they were the wrong. It was just a big mess. Anyway, we're going to jump right back into High Seas yet again, and we're going to be talking about, let me just grab the book up here for you so you can see. There we go. There is our High Seas book. Number 3, Adventures on the High Seas. We're going to skip to page 23 in the book, I believe it is, or 24 of the PDF, and talk about the Prestidigitator. The Prestidigitator is a juggler, a master of the art of sleight of hands. He's basically a stage magician, performs deceptive tricks or illusions. This could be your illusionist type class, which depends on dexterity. Toss it up with a number of objects, balls, knives, blah, blah, blah. So this is a type of class that emphasizes on physical skills and throwing and juggling and sleight of hand, like a stage magician. Think of Chris Angel out there as a stage magician who does all these tricks with his hands and mind things and tries to screw you over and things like that, because Chris Angel does that. So, like the Bard of the Actor, he is able to choose any type of armor, however, without being trained in the armor use, like men-at-arms, OEC. It will hamper their movement. So pretty much the penalties apply for the normal movement and things like that, because you're not used to wearing it. So it reduces speed by half, prowl and hand concealment. Basically, it interferes. So the lighter the armor for this class, the better is the advice that they're giving you. So like cloth, quilt, padded, and all leather will not impair the wearer in the least bit. So again, now with weapons, again, they're very big on emphasizing this. They're not men-at-arms whatsoever. But they have a few weapons they are skilled with and proficient with that you can pick from the list. So it's not like you're, SOL or anything. You have your weapons, but you just don't have that wide variety. And remember, just because you aren't specifically trained in a weapon doesn't mean you can't use a weapon, and you just don't get the bonuses for using a weapon. You just get a straight roll or whatever bonuses that you have as far as naturally. You don't get the bonus for using say, for example, a javelin, and you're not trained in javelin. You just know how to, basically use a javelin, because anybody could pick up a javelin and throw a javelin. If you're not trained in a javelin, you just don't know the exact weight, how it will be thrown. So you're basically not going to get any bonuses for learning it. So I know a lot of people in the games that I played in always have that idea in their head that they can't use certain things because they played D&D, for example, and D&D, especially older editions of D&D, had a mentality of if you're not proficient in it, you automatically get a minus to the weapon and you can't use it correctly, and you could fumble and kill yourself and what other BS that you can think of. With Palladium, it's a lot different. At least in my games, you can pick up any weapon and use it, but you just won't get any bonuses like normal people will that are trained in it. Okay, you're trained in hand-to-hand, non-men-of-arms combat skill that could be selected, and you can see that on the regular fantasy book, page 21. You do have a juggling skill, which some combat skills give bonuses to, make the Prestidigitator a pretty formidable foe, so you can basically use those juggling skills to throw knives and throw things at people. Characters without hand-to-hand combat skills will only have one attack per melee and throw attacks provided by the juggling skill. Bonuses to strike, parry, and dodge can be accumulated from the juggling skill's weapon proficiencies and natural abilities. So you can opt not to have hand-to-hand combat elective, but only get one melee attack. But if you go with juggling, you get a little bit more. Alignments, they really don't care. A Prestidigitator can be whatever the hell he wants to be. Generally, they're going to be evil alignments because they're mostly trying to trick people. Kidding, relax. The requirements is you need to have a PP of 12, and every time I say that, I keep thinking of Jeff from my group, who goes, really, my PP has to be how long? And, childish jokes from kids, whatever. We all have those people in our group, and we laugh, so it's fun. OECs, the skills: select 2 from the following: concealment, juggling, palming, pickpocketing, picking lock, sleight of hand, and add 5% to the 2 skills selected as an OC bonus. Remember, the remaining 4 skills may be selected as an elective and repeated below. Do not select the same skill twice. Important, because some people will do that. I keep looking for the camera over here, but I remember I moved it over here now. Anyway, you get to choose 8 elective skills at level 1, 2 at level 3, and 2 more at level 8, and then 2 finally at 12. Choose for secondary skills, you get to choose 8 at level 1, 4 at level 4, and 4 at level 12. The elective skills are pretty much... the only thing new here we have here is juggling, and let's see here. Some of the weapons, like paired weapons, is a new one here. Secondary skills, looks like we have a few different little things here and there, such as miming, public speaking, play a percussion instrument, rope work, sign language, and sculpture and whittle are a bunch of the things that are new here now. Let's go ahead and take a look at the juggling skill just so you get an idea. And that's on page 8, I believe, or 7, the new elective skills here. So let's give a nice zoom in on that for you so we can see that a little bit better. Hopefully I can get that on the screen here. All right. Juggling, the ability to toss up a number of objects such as balls, clubs, knives, lit torches, and almost any unusually small objects and keep them continuously in the air. This skill is an elective skill exclusive to the Prestidigitator. The level of quality and diversity of the juggling OSC skill is an expert caliber and not a hobby or a pastime. As an expert skill, the practitioner develops a superior sense of coordination, manual dexterity, and reflexes which provide the following abilities and bonuses. 3 attacks per melee with a thrown weapon. So remember I was saying that you would only have 1 attack unless you have a juggling skill, which actually gives you 3 attacks per the 1 attack. So, interesting how you might be able to use that thinking, huh? This can include darts, knives, throwing axe, javelins, small spears, clubs, and other small items appropriate for throwing. It does not include swords, maces, ball and chain, pole arms, staves, chairs, and other objects. Add 1 additional throwing attack at 4th level and 1 additional level at level 8 and 11. That's a total of 6 throwing attacks by level 11. The throwing attack takes the place of normal hand-to-hand combat per melee. This means the character can either attack by throwing missile weapons or engaging in hand-to-hand combat. He cannot do both at the same time. So remember that when you're trying to use your melee attacks per hand-to-hand combat, thinking you can double up on this. Automatic parry. Even though he is not a man of arms, the practice is in use in juggling, manipulation of small arms, and great manual dexterity provides an automatic parry. However, the automatic parry only applies when a knife, throwing axe, spear, or light small object like a torch is used. Bonuses now that you get. +1 to strike with any throwing missile weapon, +1 to parry. These are both in addition to the hand-to-hand or weapon proficiency skill. Number of items juggled. Up to 6 items at level 1, +1 for each additional level experience. Now, I know we went over things like palming, and that's a simple ability to pick and basically just hide things and disappear things, keys, playing cards, what a magician would basically do. And sleight of hand would be manipulation for feats, tricks, and it's basically another form of palming, but just to distract and observe with one hand and the other. So those are some of the abilities that you do get. I think there was another one. Let's see here. I think public speaking was another one. Let's see if it's listed here under the... Nope. I think it's under secondary skills. Breeding, brewing, falconry, fishing, forced march, public speaking. There it is. Training the quality of sound, tone, pitch, and enunciation and clarity, and speaking to the public loudly and distinctly. Also includes the practice of good, enticing storytelling and composure of the spoken word. Adds a one-time bonus, +2% to the ventriloquism, and imitate voice skills. The percentile number indicates the overall quality and charisma of this word spoken. So you could win over a crowd with public speaking, provided that you roll well enough and the GM has a secret number that you match up with, or whatever you want to do in your campaign. But that's the Prestidigitator, and that pretty much sums up all the classes in this book. Maybe we'll take an overall look at some of the other things in this book, because there's quite a few things in this book to look at. If you head over to the beginning of the book, and you can see that not only do we have the new skills that we went over and the proficiencies, we have the optional classes, and then we got the character sheets, which take up a good part of the book, and then we could talk about alchemy and magical items that are involved in here, and curses, which is kind of cool, and we talk about fairies and then the actual islands and lands themselves. So maybe we will continue with this book. I keep looking over here when I should be looking over here. Maybe we should continue with this book and see where we go from there. Tell me what you think in the comments if you want me to continue on with this book or just move on to something else. I don't mind. You guys are driving the comments, so don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and see you in the next one. Keep it original, keep it old school. Good night, everybody.